Every single person up here today, all these people should be at home grieving. But instead, we are up here, standing together because if all our government and president can do is send thoughts and prayers, then it's time for victims to be the change that we need to see.
This is Emma Gonzalez, a now 20-year-old who happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time when she was only 18 years old. However, her wrong place was her own high school, and the wrong time during school hours. In February 2018, a shooting occurred in Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida, where 17 individuals lost their lives and 17 more were injured. After this tragic event, she decided to become a gun control activist and join a community of individuals fighting for the same purpose: end gun violence and provide safer communities. Various organizations have also been doing this for many years. Among them is EveryTown organization, an organization founded in 2013 consisting of about 6 million members.
According to statistics, more than 100 Americans are killed with guns every day. This is the main reason why EveryTown for Gun Safety seeks to understand the real cause of gun violence and eventually stop it. For the present year 2020, EveryTown will promote a gun safety agenda that is based on 5 tactics. First is better background checks. This means that they will be able to manage and control who is on their appropriate background and situation to own a gun and to have a license. The second one is protecting kids and communities, which includes what is known as red flag laws, school safety, and responsible access to firearms. That is of great importance now to know who can have a gun and around which areas to protect kids. And the third one is disarming domestic abusers. Did you know that most of the cases of gun violence are directed towards women in domestic abuse? This is why it is important to end domestic abusers that are using gun as a means of violence. The fourth one is combating daily gun violence, and this can be done through supporting research, law enforcement, and local solutions within communities. Fifth is holding the gun industry accountable, which means repelling gun industry immunity and promoting smarter solutions that is not through the means of violence.
Values and objectives of EveryTown organization. In the beginning, we have courage. Now, courage is extremely important for this organization as they are brave enough to tackle the problem that is the gun control in the United States of America. The second would be helpfulness. Now, they are committed towards helping the country and helping the people affected by gun violence. The third is collaborativeness. The main aim of EveryTown is to collaborate with individuals and organizations all over the country to ensure that gun control is enforced. And the fourth one is clarity. They are clear about what they want to do and they are clear about their mission. Now, moving on to the main future objectives. We begin with the ensuring guns are not sold to or in the possession of dangerous individuals, which is a major problem tackled by the United States. The second would be to ensure that guns are kept and stored safely so that anyone doesn't have the access to them. The third would be to communicate and spread awareness about the need for gun control. And lastly, they're using the power of culture to create an America free of gun violence.
EveryTown strategies for gun control. The first one is that cities can harness their own data to better understand the specific factors that drive gun violence. So from Milwaukee, where a public health and criminal justice officials review every homicide and shooting in the city, to Chicago, Illinois, where an analysis of crime gun trace data exposed all the sources of the city's underground gun market. This data can help policymakers address gun crime with solutions tailored to local circumstances. And the second strategy is that cities can reduce the supply of illegal guns by cutting off the sources of their local underground markets. In Lafayette, after public safety officials recognized that criminals in the area were stealing guns stored in cars, they initiated a public education campaign to promote responsible gun storage in vehicles and reduce this opportunity for theft. In Tucson, local legislators passed an ordinance requiring gun shows on city property to require background checks for all sellers. The third strategy is that cities can improve public spaces to make it harder for criminals to stash or use firearms. Like vacant lots in Philadelphia provided a hiding place for guns, so city partnerships transformed the lots into green spaces. And New York City is confronting gun violence outside public housing units by lighting areas that were otherwise hazardous after dark. Fourth strategy is cities can adopt measures to improve investigations of gun crimes and leave fewer gun crimes unsolved. A discarded firearm or a few spent casings and physical evidence that can link a crime scene to a perpetrator, and officers are making better use of that evidence in cities around the country. The fifth point is that fifth strategy is that cities can help break the cycle of violence and retaliation by running programs that focus on the places and people most likely to be affected. These programs aim to change group and individual behavior and to diffuse conflicts before they escalate. From Cincinnati to Richmond, cities are working with law enforcement, street outreach workers, and hospitals to engage with high-risk individuals and give them alternatives to violence. A sixth strategy is cities can offer positive alternatives to at-risk individuals before they fall into patterns of violence, using interventions shown to have long-term impacts on violent behavior. Chicago has been piloting new programs, including cognitive behavioral therapy and short-term summer employment, which have reduced arrests and increased graduation rates. And the final strategy is because fatal domestic violence accounts for as many as 1 in 6 homicides in some cities, city leaders can also ensure that dangerous domestic abusers do not have illegal access to guns. In Dallas County, judges developed a courtroom process to ensure that convicted domestic abusers who are prohibited from having firearms relinquish them as mandated by law, and partnered with a local firing range to hold the guns for safekeeping.
As previously mentioned, Emma Gonzalez is an American gun control activist. In her short years of activism after being a survivor of a mass shooting, she has become a viral and a powerful leader determined to end gun violence.
Politicians who sit in their gilded House and Senate seats funded by the NRA telling us nothing could have ever been done to prevent this, we call BS!
She first became a viral sensation when this "We Call BS" slogan against politicians was given. She has done more, however. In early March 2018, she and other shooting survivors co-founded the gun control advocacy group Never Again MSD, starting the Never Again and Enough is Enough movement in social media. In addition to this movement, she organized the March for Our Lives, the largest student protest in American history, with over 200,000 to 800,000 students present. As a result, Florida legislature passed a bill, Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School Public Safety Act, in late March 2018, where they raised the minimum age to buy a firearm from 18 to 21, pending background checks, banned mentally ill people from possessing firearms, amongst other requirements. In her leadership style, Emma is just like any of us. She uses humor while being relatable to break the ice with such a dark and sad topic, such as an interview she gave that said, "I decided to cut my hair because it was a pain in the neck," if you'll forgive the pun. She also likes to get personal. She likes to tell private things about her, such as "I'm Cuban and bisexual," or telling her audience she is allergic to 12 things. This is done to connect in a deeper level with her audience by opening herself up and allowing them to see the full Emma. She is passionate and brave. She is not only one of the few students who dared to speak up after the shooting, she has also spoken up in front of millions of people and questioned major American politicians, including President Donald Trump. Through this, she received respect and attention from millions of individuals, which allowed her to lead a group of lawmakers, students, and family members in a 6-minute silence, the loudest silence in the history of a U.S. social protest, that was done to show the world what it would be like to be in a room for 6 minutes while there was a shooting spree and people were being killed.
Besides being very outspoken and brave enough to express herself, she has shown signs of being an excellent leader and has shown to be empathetic towards the groups that she represents. Emma has various values, some of them being the freedom of choice and liberty to be who you want to be, because she believes in mutual respect, whereas you would give respect and take respect. The most important value she holds is the right to speak up against what is wrong and the people who are doing wrong. She does not believe in fighting fire with fire, but rather putting it out completely, as in fixing the problem from its root.
In her broken voice, tears, pride, yet a lot of frustration, Emma Gonzalez said that we're going to be the kids you read about in textbook. Not because we're going to be another statistic about mass shooting in America, but because we're going to be the last mass shooting Emma Gonzalez's potential and possibilities in the future. A person who would challenge the ignorance of authority. She is and will be a movement leader, and her influence will not just keep in Florida itself. Her voice about gun control, her ideology will be spread around in America, which makes her a social activist who would make things right. And as much as Emma demands an act from the authority, we have the right to believe that she is going to be the change that we're seeing in the world tomorrow. Being a lawmaker who would benefit the life of millions and millions of Americans out there who wants to live peacefully without worrying every day about mass shootings.